What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about hammers and then if you should consider getting an air hammer. Now hammers is something you use on a daily basis in the automotive industry. I mean, whether it's something like small and flimsy like this or maybe something more heavy duty like this one. I'm just going to talk about like my personal set of hammers, what I use on a daily basis. I mean, there's a lot more hammers out there, like with different types of shapes, different designs for different purposes. I know that. I'm just going to talk about my set and then what I think you should have. Now, starting off, probably the most basic one and essential one hammer that you should have is a big heavy duty hammer. This one, it ain't the biggest. It's a half kg one. I'm sure there's a lot more heavier out there, bigger. Yeah, I know that, but I think a half kg is the sweet spot. I've been using this for like 3 years or so. Done a lot of jobs, no problem. Obviously, if you go with the bigger one, it's because the hammer is going to be heavier. It's going to have more force into it, but it's going to be more expensive. This one is a pretty decent size. There's probably other ones out there with maybe a longer handle. Obviously there's different types of hammers. This one, I don't even know what the brand is. I mean, personally, I bought this for like 10-12 pounds. Good quality, it looks solid. I've been using the hell out of it, still works. So yeah, this is gonna be one of your hammers that you should have, a big heavy one. Now moving on to the second type that you should have as a hammer is one of these babies. On the left you can see I've got Capo Hammer on both sizes. As you can see, it's pretty beat up because I use it a lot. And on this side I've got like one that's kind of like plastic on one side and then a soft material. I don't know if it's soft aluminum or something like that on the other side. Why you should have this, one obvious thing that you should understand is when you are going to be doing, I don't know, like a gasket or something on a rocker cover gasket. Maybe you're going to take off the sump to do some work and then you're going to put the sump back. Whatever you're going to be doing, maybe even taking the drive shaft out. When you're hitting those objects, you don't want to damage them. So if you were to be using like something like this, which is like rock solid, you probably are going to dent like the sump or damage the drive shaft. So you don't want to be using this. You want to be using either like a rubber mallet or like a copper hammer like this one. Main reason for that is these are softer materials, softer metals than what you're going to be hitting. So it's going to prevent from damaging and denting, whatever you're going to be hitting. Price wise, I mean, this one I probably got it like 10-15 pounds, whatever. Again, depending on how heavy the hammer is going to be, prices will vary. So I think this one is a 300 gram copper hammer. Maybe it's going to be like 15-20 pounds. If you were to get like, I don't know, half a kg copper hammer, it'd probably be 25-30 quid. It all depends on what you're going to be getting. Now moving on to the second to last part is going to be more hammers are going to be using more for precise work. I mean, I've got these two that I use whenever I'm going to be doing work like that. This is kind of like a little smaller one that I'm going to be tapping out pins, maybe some clips or something like that. This is like a little bit bigger. As you can see, the handle is a little bit longer, so it gives me more leverage and is a little bit more heavier. These ones I got for free, so I don't know how much they're going to cost, but it's probably going to be similar sort of range prices as to the other ones, maybe like 10-15 pounds. So I would say, considering having kind of like a smaller hammer for more precise work that you are going to be doing, whether it's going to be like on brakes, engine, whatever you're going to be doing, that you need some minor like light taps or some pins or something like that. It wouldn't make sense to be holding this, just tapping a pin in. This one is a lot lighter, makes the job easier and you get the work done. Now I'll save the best thing for last, which is the bonus one, which is if you should consider getting an air hammer. Now in my hands I got this air hammer. This is an Ingersoll Rand. Part number on this is a 114 GQC. This is kind of like, in my opinion, a pretty reasonable price air hammer. I mean, price wise it ranges between, I don't know, like maybe 40 to 55 pounds, which for me is pretty reasonable considering you get like free bits as well. So I'll get this in a sec, but let's talk about for air hammers. Now with air hammers, there's a couple of things you should consider. First of all is the type of head it's going to have, if it's a spring one or if it's a chuck one. The one I have in my hand is a chuck one. Difference between a spring one and a chuck one: spring is kind of like a little bit more old school and it takes more time to change you know, the chisel or whatever you have in there, because you need to undo the spring, you know, take the spring off, take the bit off, change to whatever you're going to change, and then put the spring back and then tighten it. This with the chuck design is a little bit faster and more convenient for me, because it is as simple as kind of like SD drills. Basically you can just pull the sleeve back and then, you know, obviously insert your bit, pull the sleeve back and it goes in and then it's locked in place. It ain't gonna go nowhere. You know, it is, you know, more convenient, I would say, kind of like more of a luxury, but you know, it does make sense, you know, when you're using it and then you want to change it, boom, you take it out, put another one in, whatever you're going to use it for, and then crack on with work. Whereas with the spring one, you know, you can be like this and then, you know, like that. The second thing you should consider is whether how long the barrel is. Now when I'm talking about barrel, I'm talking about this like kind of like long thing of the air hammer. With the barrel, the longer it is, the more powerful the gun is going to be. It's going to have more impact to it, and vice versa. If obviously it's shorter, you know, the less impact it's going to have. With this Ingersoll, it's kind of like a medium-sized one. I mean, I don't use this one on a daily basis. I just wanted to have it in my toolbox whenever I did want to use it, like, you know, maybe for like a lower arm or a seized bolt or something like that. You know, I just take it out of my toolbox and then, you know, get the job done. Now if you are going to be using, you know, an air hammer on a daily basis and you consider to get like a good one, I would highly suggest, you know, go with the longer barrel one. Now brand wise, it could be whatever you want, Ingersoll, CP, Snap-on, whatever your budget is, but I would suggest go with the longer barrel one because it is going to be more powerful. Now what we use an air hammer, I mean, one of the examples I did say was like maybe lower arms, seized bolts, studs. If you are going to be changing, you know, you can use this for quite a lot of things. I mean, of the heads that did come with this, you got this head that I want to talk about. As you can see, it's kind of like, it's got like a little kind of like more of a split over there, kind of like it digs in onto that. You would use this one to like cut through sheet metal. It ain't the cleanest cut, I'll be honest, but if you just want to remove something like really quick, you just put this on your air hammer and then just drill through it, and then boom, it shears through the sheet metal, no problem. I mean, you do have your regular chisels. I mean, you can see this one is used, and then you got this sort of like a punch. I haven't used this one yet, but yeah, there's different, you know, heads that you can get online if you're not happy with, you know, with the ones that do come with a gun, if they include inside. But yeah, that's pretty much of, you know, the air hammer. A couple of things you should consider before buying one. Well, that was the video, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment down below for, you know, anything I left out, maybe other types of hammers, please let me know, and I will see ya in the next video. Peace.